Time again for us to share our podcast of the month, and we are featuring the three-part series from ABC Audio called Reclaimed, the story of Mamie Till-Mobley.
And this series follows the life and legacy of Mamie Till-Mobley, whose fight for justice after her son's murder helped spark the civil rights movement. And look who we got in the building, the host of the podcast, ABC contributor Leah Wright Rigueur. Good to have you here with us in studio. And this is, right, we think we know this story. We know about the decision she made when it had to come to the funeral, but you actually go back and you go to her beginnings, her life. Now, what kind of stood out to you, or what would you like to highlight here for our audience, something we may not know about her and her upbringing?
So it's a three-part series, and it's absolutely brilliant. All kudos goes to the ABC News research team, who just found all of this information in the vault, including clips that we've never heard before, photographs, letters, memos, all kinds of things. And I think one of the things that it conveys, and that I actually learned, which is, you know, I'm a historian, I'm supposed to know these things. But one of the things that I learned is just how urgent and how important the overarching life of Mamie Till-Mobley was and continues to be.
What stood out most to you about her life that you didn't know before?
So I had no idea that Mamie Till-Mobley devoted her life to children after her son was murdered. She had a career that spanned 3 decades in the Chicago public school system. And in fact, her decision to become a teacher stemmed from her understanding of her son's life and his legacy. And she said, you know, I have all of this love and knowledge to give, and why not give it to children since I can't give it to my son who's no longer here?
What have you noticed? I know the feature film is coming out. We've been seeing those promos for it, but also, does it feel like there is some, and where does it come from, a renewed interest or even curiosity about her story, Emmett Till's story these days?
There's absolutely a renewed intensity and urgency behind the story of Emmett Till and also the story of Mamie Till-Mobley. And I think a lot of things go into that. For one, the story of Emmett Till may be one of civil rights and promise and legacy, but it's also one where justice hasn't been found. Right? We're still searching for justice, and people want that. But on top of that, there's just this renewed interest, I think, in commitment to Mamie Till-Mobley and understanding her as the original mother of the movement. Right? Somebody who, you know, as a mother, devoted her life, right? Who was just incredibly brave in the face of racism and death threats, who went to Mississippi for the entire duration of the trial, and then who lived her life for service for others after the trial ends, and is a crusader really for justice. People want that, and there is an urgency behind really exploring ideas, and also exploring ideas that they think they know about, but actually that they realize that there's so much more to it. There's so much more important and powerful material. And I think people think they know the story of Emmett Till and Mamie Till-Mobley. And what I want them to get from this podcast is the understanding that there's so much more, and there's just this really rich, deep dive. And I want them, most of all, to feel vulnerable, and I want them to feel motivated.
Wow. Leah, thank you so much for being in studio with us. It's lovely. I don't think any of us have actually met in person, so it's so nice to have you here. I want to remind everyone that Reclaimed is available everywhere you listen to podcasts.
It's so good to have you. Please come back. All right.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.